Farewell, PlayStation Home. You'll be missed. Greetings, everyone, and hello. Anthony Mars Jr. on PR Lost Galaxy 2014 with a brand new Terra Adventure podcast on PR Lost Galaxy 2014. And I bring you all podcast episode 152, which is also like the last podcast, if you've seen it, chronologically out of order, if you will, despite the fact podcast 150 was something else, presented by my self-devoted fan page PR Lost Galaxy 2014's Facebook page. Since my Facebook page devoted to myself in general, Anthony Mars Jr., is not really worth looking forward to, because what have I done recently anyway? Nothing. So anyway, this podcast once again is presented by my PR Lost Galaxy 2014 Facebook page. And as well as, if you want to follow me and follow my content on anything regarding social media, use the hashtag PR Lost Galaxy 2014 on the following social media platforms, such as Twitter. Well, for anyone who is a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 owner, mostly PS3 owners, I want to point out to you guys and talk to you guys about today regarding PlayStation Home. And also, if you have not caught on to the news already, if you were about to use PlayStation Home today, here's the thing. Since today is March 31st, the last day of March of 2015, Sony had discontinued PlayStation Home for everyone who is a PlayStation 3 owner, like myself. It was, the virtual 3D social gaming platform developed by Sony Computer Entertainment, London studio for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Network, and it was accessible on the PS3's X Cross Media Bar XMB. Membership is free and requires a PSN account upon installation. Users can choose how much hard disk space they want to reserve for Home. Home has been in development since early 2006 and started an open public beta test on December 11, 2008, at the time when it started. Unfortunately, PlayStation Home was set to shut down today, so unfortunately I had to, at the time when I turned on my PlayStation 3 this morning, I had to terminate my PlayStation Home, my use of PlayStation Home before the shutdown. So that's a good thing I had to shut down PlayStation Home. Because the reason why, for anyone who currently has a PlayStation 4, however, for anyone who has a PS4, there's going to be a new 3D virtual social, system set for PS4, and I understand, and I forgot the name of it, but it's just, I'm just going to make this a little brief with you guys for anyone who was using PlayStation Home, for anyone who's a PS3 owner like myself here, that I had to terminate my PlayStation Home, my use of PlayStation Home once again. And I also want to tell you about my history with PlayStation Home. Ever since I told you guys, if you also followed me on the Mars Jr. channel, whose channel, by the way, of mine, that I have been using for a long time while now, that I decided that I wanted to check out what PlayStation Home was about, because ever since I heard about these features on PlayStation 3, as much as well since PlayStation 4 is taking over, and despite the features it has, and seeing what PS3 still has in offer until its life cycle ends this year, I had to install PlayStation Home to my PS3 and the hard drive for my PS3 console. And then as soon as when it did system updates, I checked out what PlayStation Home is like, and I was like, wow, this looks really interesting. Why couldn't I have used this kind of thing before, and why couldn't I use it when I had my PS3? And from the look of the way how you use PlayStation Home, you get to do exactly what you do on other virtual game, like hard such whatever. I'm not really that much of a tech geek, sort of say, so I'm just kind of scrambled in the brain to think about this kind of thing. And when I look at the environments, I mean, the different locations you can, browse to and go by on PlayStation Home, it looks really incredible. Absolutely incredible. I like going by different zones based on respective game franchises like Street Fighter and Resident Evil, and even whatever other video game franchise who had a level inspired by the be inserted to PlayStation Home, and just seeing how incredible that the entire landscape of the PlayStation Home looks. And it's like being at home, feeling that immersive experience of these games, and even games that is made exclusively for PlayStation Home, and also looking at the way how you get to interact with other players by their respective PSN usernames. And well, I'm not going to say anything bad for anyone who currently has an Xbox 360 or Xbox One, but I never even owned an Xbox 360, but I wanted to, but no, because despite the fact Xbox 360's price for the console itself was too expensive, even the games were expensive. That's why I've been a PlayStation junkie my whole life. You can go, for anyone who's an Xbox fanboy, can go ahead and say that, you PlayStation gamers are gay and this is why Xbox is more superior, blah, 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 whatever. I don't really care. I always liked it, the use of, one of the top things I've always liked about PlayStation Home was I get to create, I'm one of the few users who get to create a custom avatar. Around the time when I started using PlayStation Home before I shut down my my use of PS Home, I only created about 6 or 7 avatar characters and only used one frequent primary one. So therefore, I have not used the others that I've been using. I've been using the primary one, which is I get to create both a male and female avatar, but I don't have to create an avatar based on my own gender and make multiple male avatars and less female ones. When I'm not a girl, I'm a guy, and I don't do female avatars. That sort of thinking. And it's just the way and also I like the way how the texture and how the smooth textures are on avatars when you create them too. They are according to Wikipedia that they can be groomed realistically and look like real people. And I suppose if you were to do your PS Home avatar to resemble yourself as of frequently, and also as I can travel throughout the home world, which is frequently updated by Sony and its partners. Public spaces are made for display, entertainment, advertising, and networking. Home's primary forms of advertising include spaces themselves, video screens, posters, and mini games. Home can feature many single and multiplayer mini games, which I also did participate to a degree in some instances during my duration of time when using PlayStation Home. And I also, when I do so, and also in which they provide special events where they provide prizes for players, and also further customize their avatar and apartments. But when I started PlayStation Home, I never really customized my apartment because I just didn't have the funds. I didn't have the efficient funds to customize it. But today, I should feel sorry for PlayStation Home being, terminated today. And I just really feel, I had my run for the last 2 years using my PS3, knowing I should have got my PS3 a long time ago. But no, I was still with PS2, was still playing what PlayStation 2 games were available until its life cycle came to an end sometime around 2011, 2012. And I was like, okay. It's just PlayStation Home. It just felt, when I enter home every once in a while, once a few days, it's like I'm in the real world with different users who have PlayStation Home accounts. I mean PlayStation 3 PSN accounts, and want to embrace this kind of realism within the game for some sort of reason. Why I feel that that's exactly what PlayStation Home was. I really enjoy being on there, but since today it was shut down, I'm gonna miss PlayStation Home. But now, if I go on Wikipedia and check what PlayStation 4 has, and if it has a virtual zone compared to PS3 with PlayStation Home, if I go on PlayStation 4's Wikipedia article, they might say that, because I think I remember when I was playing the PlayStation. I think I remember when I was playing the PlayStation. I think I remember. Okay, let me start over. I remember when I was using PlayStation Home a couple of days. When I was using it, I think 2 months ago, earlier this year, I was at the theater zone on PS4. I mean PS3, sorry, on PlayStation Home. And I was watching this little virtual convention about that they're going to do that PlayStation 4 will have a newer virtual zone compared to PS3 with PlayStation Home, but I forgot the name of it, however. Doesn't say on Wikipedia as I'm looking and reading if there's any information if PlayStation 3 PS4 will have that virtual 3D social interaction zone like Home, but not one I can think of. And I'll talk about the PlayStation 4 another time, but it's just, as I look on look up the PlayStation 4 Wikipedia article, it doesn't have what I was looking for when I'm looking, maybe let me check the article for PlayStation 4 system software and see what they have for one. So let me see. No. Yeah, seems like I'm going to have to upgrade to PlayStation 4 now since PS3's life cycle is about to end this year, so yeah. Well, therefore, all I can say is for the rest of the podcast, I'm going to talk about my plans on it when I do get a PlayStation 4. And I'm also going to be sad that later on, when PlayStation 3's life cycle ends this year, or sometime during the year of 2015, seems like I'm going to have to discontinue my use of the PS3 now and go ahead and start, while I'm on my job, I'm going to go ahead and make as much money as I can to buy a PlayStation 4. And also buy at least 1 or 2 games for my first try of the PS4. But however, the difference is, for anyone who has a PlayStation 4, unlike me, the thing is, well, if you're going to play the thing is about video games from past PlayStation generations, PS1, PS2, PS3. The problem is, if you're going to, the problem is that with the PS4 is that you won't have an opportunity to have backwards compatibility of playing past generation PlayStation games of all 3 of the PlayStation platforms that has been around since the beginning of the PlayStation's life cycle, all the way to PS3 and up to PS4. And this was one of my constant problems. Why isn't PlayStation 4 is going to allow anyone who has past generation PlayStation games like myself with PS1, PS2, PS3, and they're going to say that, the place, if you even insert, let's say a PS3 game, the PS4 will not read the disc, and that is very increasingly difficult, and it's just excruciating. And I said, why can't the PlayStation 4 allow someone who has past generation PlayStation games like myself to, come on. I mean, how can you not let people like myself, and if you have the current PS4 console, now I can see it once when Sony does a new PlayStation 4 console sometime in a couple like probably in 2 years or more, depending on how much the original model will cost and how much money, and based on the amount of units it will sell and how many PS4 consoles they will sell for the first generation PS4. And once when I do a PS4 slim line, they'll probably do a compatible feature to let us play PS1, PlayStation 2, and PS3 games as well. Because I remember when I heard of the PS3 and when I heard the backwards compatibility feature for actually only for the original PS3 console, which I should have had, before I heard of the PS3 2009 Slim and the PS3 Super Slim, which one of the 3 PS3 consoles I have from 2012, which is still in my room. And when I think about the PS4, it makes me wonder when they do a slim edition of the PS4, because they will. Sony will do a slim PS4 eventually, probably in 2-3 so years from now. And when they do, one of my bets will be, I just hope that when they do a PS4 super slim or whatever, ultra slim, I hope they'll add the feature to let any of us with PlayStation consoles, PlayStation games, PlayStation merchandise, to let us play past generation PlayStation games from any era, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 on PlayStation 4. Because, well, if you guys with Xboxes in your house, if you can play Xbox and Xbox 360 games on the Xbox One, you can do that. But for us with but for those who are PlayStation junkies, I guess I'm gonna have to call myself a PlayStation junkie. With PlayStation 4, and which I don't have, but I will eventually if the price will drop a little sooner than I will expect. Then and if I put in, like, let's say a PS3 game, if I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS3, but when I'm knowing there is already a PS4 version, a PS4 rendition already available for the PS4, so what's the point putting the PS3 version of GTA 5 within the PS4 when there's already a PS4 version in there, or Watch Dogs, or what other video game is available for the PS4. And I just, I'm screwed. I was like this before, sticking with the PS2 for so long and then waiting until when PlayStation 3's life cycle comes to an end, and I'm like, fucked. And I'm also uncertain, before I leave, about the PlayStation 3 and its use of PlayStation Network. And also regarding about the shutdown of the PS3 in general and why its life cycle will cease here. Once when the PS3's life cycle will end in this year in 2015, will PlayStation Network will be accessible still for someone like myself? I mean, how am I going to browse the internet on the PlayStation 3 if PlayStation Network, knowing the PS3's life cycle will be ceased? And I'm like, and will the following apps like Netflix, WWE Network, and Crack will be useful? I don't quite know. I will find out if I hear a word that, based on the month date of 2015 about the PS3's life cycle ceasing, that I feel that if they do state that everything that you have on PS3 will be discontinued, you will only play games, trophies will still be available nonetheless, and you will still use some of the basic features like using, plug-in USB stuff, that have USB connections to them and everything, and also showing photo galleries and playing music and whatever, watching DVD movies on them and all, but with anyone moved on with PS4, but you can still have PlayStation Network. You can still have PlayStation Plus on the PS4. You can still use the internet on the PlayStation 4. You can still use apps on PlayStation 4, like the PlayStation, like the WWE Network and Netflix and Hulu and Crackle and such, TV video service apps and such like that. You can possibly watch DVD movies and Blu-ray movies on the PS4, but knowing myself, I don't have a PS4 yet. But I will get so eventually, and so forth. But as for if they would suppose if they were to resurrect the PlayStation Home for the PlayStation 4 for PS4 users, but unfortunately they're going to create something entirely different from the PlayStation Home, the PlayStation Home world that us PS3 users were experiencing for the last 7-8 so years of the PS3's lifetime. So I have nothing much to say about PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Home, but all I can say is, well, PlayStation Home, you had its run, you had your run. Now it's time for you to retire as of March 31st of this year, 2015 today. So what do you guys feel about the shutdown of the PlayStation Home if you haven't caught on to this? Because if you have checked the Wikipedia entry for PlayStation Home within PlayStation 3 related articles, I may suggest you to go check it out and look at the opening heading, and also if you go to the final sentence of the paragraph of the opening article of PlayStation Home, it states that PlayStation Home will shut down March 31st, which was today. And if you did not come on to that, if you didn't catch on to my message, for anyone who had PlayStation Network accounts like myself, and by the way, my PlayStation Network, my PSN account is the same name as my YouTube account, where I do videos on Power Rangers and such myself, PR Lost Galaxy 2014. And you should know that I have posted any of you who have PlayStation Home, I mean PlayStation 3 and PS4, I have PSN accounts. And if you have caught on to my message, for anyone who still has a PS3 still sitting around in your house, and if you have not catched on to the message that I sent to any of you of the random unknown, like users like whatever you guys are, like Vexy Vampire or Abob 1000 or Shorty 2575, then I probably feel that you probably didn't catch on to my message on that already. I'm just going to let you guys know. So anyway, all I can say is goodbye PlayStation Home and goodbye PlayStation 3. Now it seems like I'm going to have to take 2 years off PlayStation until I get enough money to get a PS4. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably move on to somewhere near Xbox or Nintendo and what they got in store, but I'll still be in touch with PlayStation. So I guess I'm going to have to transition from PS3 to somewhere in the Xbox territory with Xbox One. Because I keep hearing people say Xbox One is so awesome. You get to do all these cool things with it than the previous Xbox generations. So, yeah, I might get an Xbox One. I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking about getting an Xbox One or a Wii U, but I'm still going to stick with PlayStation. Or all three consoles, though, nonetheless, due to the fact that Nintendo has been declining for quite some time. I just don't quite sure. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this video and what I was saying. Drop a like, subscribe, so forth. And I'll see you guys right back here next time. This was Anthony Mars Jr. on PR Lost Galaxy 2014. Thank you for listening about this podcast and my discussion here at Terra Ventures Conference Hall within the PlayStation community overall at large is now over. Thank you, and good night, and have a great day.